Now, the Brits in the UK decided that they will not use the simplest version to call this vegetable. They will instead So let's talk about a few confusing words for me as an English speaker that's been completely self-taught, living in the UK. These words are absolutely the bane of my life. They constantly frustrate me as I'm just so used to the American version to call the same thing. And obviously in the UK, they do have a few differences. My name is Dita. I am originally from Lithuania. I am married to a Nigerian and we now live in the UK. In Lithuania, if you go to school, you're mostly going to be learning British English. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me, as I was actually studying German in school, and English has been a completely self-taught language for me. I learned English from watching TV shows, movies, and obviously kind of songs. A lot of that stuff was American, as that's what's mostly popular in Lithuania. There's very few British shows or movies that anyone would ever watch, and to be honest, I never knew anyone that would be watching something British. So the first word that I want to talk about is a very simple one, and it is cookie. In the States, in any American movies, etc., they would say, we're baking Christmas cookies, or, you know, can I have a cookie? And that would be really easy for me to understand because everything is literally called cookie. Not in the UK. So in the UK, everything that is usually this, you know, dry, crunchy, dough-based thing is a biscuit. I have heard of the word biscuit. I don't know why, but every time I hear the word biscuit, I think of tea and dumping it. And that's like I can understand that a digestive is a biscuit, that I can call a biscuit. But there's a lot of other ones where I would call them a cookie because it just makes sense. It gets more confusing from there because in the US, a biscuit is this. And in the UK is a scone. So here we go. Now I have not one word, cookie, but I've got multiple words. I've been told by my coworkers that cookie is still a word that you can use, but you can only use it to describe this kind of cookie, which is a round biscuit that, you know, has maybe like chocolate chips or nuts on it, or, you know, anything like that. That is okay to be called a cookie, but anything else is a biscuit. There is another word that has been very frustrating for me. In the US, if you want to call a crossing on a road where pedestrians can go, you'd call it a pedestrian crossing, which I think makes perfect sense. But in the UK, they decided that they should call that a zebra crossing. This is a zebra crossing. I do understand why they chose to call it a zebra crossing, is because the lines, black and white, look like a zebra. I do not understand why they call this a pelican crossing. I mean, at this point, I feel like they just chose random animals. I keep saying pedestrian crossing. I do not use the word zebra crossing, and I don't think even 20 years living in the UK that I will start calling it a zebra crossing. I mean, I'd rather just call it a crossing instead of anything, pedestrian or zebra or whatever. Whew, after all that talking, I decided that I need a cup of coffee. I live on this. I just can't live without coffee. I need it. I need it every day to just feel human, like many of us. So I don't know what you would call this vegetable, but I would call it a zucchini. Now, the Brits in the UK decided that they will not use the simplest version to call this vegetable. They will instead use the French way to call this vegetable, as historically they've had such a beautiful and brilliant relationship and everyone just feels for the French, so let's just call it the French way. Now, the Brits call a zucchini a courgette. I believe that's the way to pronounce it. But I do have to admit that I struggle with it. And also, I'm not good at French. I do not know how to pronounce the French things. So, I have very minimal knowledge in French. I will stick to a zucchini. Thank you very much. There's also another word that the UK has decided that they're gonna call the French way, and it's this. So probably everybody knows what this vegetable is. Everyone calls it an eggplant, and in the world, I think most people call it an eggplant, and the reason why, because this thing is used in social media as an icon to describe something else. Whew, I had to change from the sweater, just wear my t-shirt because it's a very hot topic. So, the United Kingdom has announced that they will not conform to the word eggplant. They proclaim that instead the vegetable will be called, wait for it, aubergine. In my opinion, they should have just stuck to eggplant. Eggplant is a very easy, simple word to use. Aubergine is something that you use when you want to be posh and fancy. So they have a monarchy, so for them, being posh is a plus. I don't really use aubergine, and to be fair, I don't use eggplant either. I only eat eggplants on holiday. I can't be bothered to cook them. Can't be bothered to deal with it. They will use a similar word for this vegetable in the UK and the US. So in the UK and the US, this vegetable here will be called pepper, bell pepper, sweet pepper. Since I am a Lithuanian, in Lithuania we have cracked the code. So the vegetable is actually called paprika, or in Lithuanian as we say, paprika, which makes things a lot simpler, and I'll explain to you why. The spice that is made from bell peppers in the UK is called paprika. You know where I'm going now. I heard a little secret that some people on social media said that they didn't know that paprika spice, or paprika as they call it in the UK, has been made for a very long time from bell peppers. In Lithuania, we do not have that problem because the vegetable is paprika and the spice is paprika spice. I do not want to use the word bell pepper because the word that we use in Lithuania just makes so much more sense. Obviously, I do not use that word in the UK. I have to force myself, stop myself every time to call it a pepper, a bell pepper, a sweet pepper, because if I say paprika, they will feel I mean the spice. And that's the issue that you sometimes get to when you speak multiple languages, you live in a different country, you just get all jumbled up. We are done with the most frustrating, confusing words for me in the UK as a self-taught English speaker. I only have a funny little story to share before we end the video. I know it's heartbreaking. A lot of Lithuanians, when they come to UK for the first time, they do not have really great English skills. If anyone here watching lives in the UK, you would know that walking in the UK or among residential streets, you will see a lot of signs that will announce that the house, apartment or flat is up for rent. In the UK, they won't say on the sign that it's up for rent, available to rent, etc. They will say to let. Simple as that, just 2 words, to let. If you speak English and you're used to the UK way of calling things, to let will make perfect sense. Now, if you don't speak English very well, for someone like a Lithuanian that just came to the country, especially if you in your country read words the way they are written, you would read that as toilet. You probably have realized already what it sounds like. For a lot of Lithuanians, when they see toilet, they think it says toilet. A lot of Lithuanians, when they first came to the UK and walked down the streets, were very confused, thinking, why do the UK, the British, have so many public toilets every 3-5 doors down? Is it a sort of business? Is this some sort of public health issue in the UK? What have I gotten myself into? I hope nobody actually knocked on the door and asked to use their toilet. This is not something that I made up. Swear to God, this is something that a lot of Lithuanians have faced and thought, and it has been widely spread and shared on social media among groups for Lithuanians. Here we are, we finished the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Helps massively to support me and my endeavor on YouTube. If you want to watch more stuff like this, please subscribe down below. It will help for you to see my videos. I will be uploading every week. The content obviously is going to be about intercultural relationships, living in the UK, and a few vlogs about my daily life. I will see you next time. It was lovely spending time with you guys. Bye bye.